We've gotten some conflicting reports on housing in the last couple of days. I'm Jill Schlesinger from CBS MoneyWatch. I'm joined by Jack Otter, also of CBS MoneyWatch. Jack, yesterday we found out pending home sales at 21-month highs. Today we find out that prices are at post-crisis lows. What is going on in the housing market?
Well, I hate to be an optimist, Jill. I know it's scary and it pains me, but I think that the Case-Shiller numbers are really backwards looking, and that pending home sales could be a sign of good things to come. Because the problem with housing is that nobody sells a house on a dime. I mean, the stock market has doubled off of its lows in just 3 years. But with houses, people are really reluctant to sell them at the new price, which is much lower than the old price. And plus, it's not even something you can do easily. Plus, lots of people actually have to bring a check to the closing. It's very painful because their house is worth less than they owe the bank. So for all these reasons, it's a slow bottoming process. And as you well know, whenever a bubble bursts, you don't just sort of go back to where things should be. You actually shoot below fair value. So that's kind of where we are right now. I think we're bouncing along that level. And as Warren Buffett says, we're making more households than we are selling houses. So I think we're going to see a slow, painful uptrend.
And Warren Buffett did say that this is a really good time to buy a house. And maybe that's what's bringing some buyers out. We have seen activity pick up that is more forward-looking. I'm also sort of intrigued by the fact that rents are rising across the country, up almost 2.5% from a year ago. So we see that a lot of people are renting now because they're kind of freaked out about the housing market. But when you look at renting versus buying, in many places, buying is actually preferable. So who should go out and buy a house right now?
That's a great question. The American dream is that everybody needs a house. And I don't really buy into that. I think that for some people, either because their job is going to take them all around the country, or they're young and who knows, they might meet the love of their life who's across the country, or they decide, you know what, I got to get away from my parents, or there's so many reasons why they might want to move. So those people, don't worry about it. Rent and be happy. But from a purely financial perspective, I think buying is the better deal. I mean, first of all, a house is like a piggy bank that you live in. So obviously, by being forced to pay that mortgage off, you're essentially building up savings. But also, as you say, now that rents are going up and house prices are still dropping, the sort of price to sales, the rent versus buy ratio, they call it, is favoring buying right now. It actually is cheaper to own in many communities.
So you have to qualify, you have to make sure you run your numbers, and you really have to do your research on the market that you're looking in. And that's, I think, the key part.
And I would add one more thing. You have to know that you're going to be there for a while.
Absolutely.
Buying a house is not a good idea for a year or two.
So here's the thing. I'm thinking that house prices doubled between 2000 and 2006.
That's incredible.
Right, doubled.
Pause and think about that. Yeah.
2000 and 2006,
They
7
doubled.
years they doubled. What if we figure it's going to be 7 years of a recovery process that puts us into maybe 13 or 14 by the time we see prices start to increase? Then we get to a normal market, and then just a house is a nice place to live. It's not an investment. How's that?
Exactly. That's what people should have realized a long time ago.
So we'll keep watching the housing market. We'll keep watching prices for you. For more, stay tuned to CBS Money Watch. Thanks for watching.